Hi, welcome to Junk Wax Junkie. I'm Matt. This is
Andy,
Andy. And Andy, I've got a question for you.
what is it?
Okay, have you ever heard of something called junk wax?
No.
Well, I will tell you what junk wax is. Junk wax is the term that we use to talk about sports cards, specifically baseball cards, that were released between 1980 or so and 1994 or so. Now, I'm going to say that the junk wax era started in 1980 and ended in 1996. Why do I say 1980?
I don't know.
Well, it used to be that there was only one type of card company that produced baseball cards, and that was Topps. But then, starting in 1980, there were all these other card companies that came up too. Donruss and Fleer started popping up. Now, why do you think they call cards like this Score Bobby Bonilla junk wax?
Because his name did?
Well, yeah, that has something to do with it. But what junk wax means is that these are cards that the card companies produce so many copies of that they're essentially worthless. You know about economics, right?
No.
No. Well, with economics, the more supply there is of something, well, the less the product is. Gold is very valuable because it's rare, not because there's a lot of it. But because there's so many of these cards out there, they're not really worth much. And I have a few examples of junk wax for you to see. You ready?
Sure.
Okay. This is a Brett Butler card from 1988. What year were you born, Andy?
2009.
2009. That means that this card was produced, well, like a good 20 years before you were born. What is this card worth?
$10?
Less,
$5?
less,
$3?
less,
$2?
less,
$1?
less,
50 cents.
less,
25 cents?
less,
15 cents?
less,
10 cents?
less,
5 cents?
less,
1 cent?
less.
Oh, it's worth nothing!
It's worth nothing. That's exactly right. It's worth nothing because this Brett Butler card and Topps and all the other card companies were very tight-lipped about how many they produced. But it's assumed by pretty credible sources that I've read that the Topps produced of every card in 1988. Topps produced 4 million copies of each card.
So 4 million people have a worthless card laying around their house.
Essentially, yes. Or there's 4 million worthless Brett Butler cards. Now, do you see why, if there's 4 million of these, why they're not worth much?
Because there's so much of it.
That's right. And who's going to want a Brett Butler card?
Nobody.
Nobody. Well, Brett Butler's mom might want a Brett Butler card, but that's about it. So this card is essentially worthless. And even if you are a die-hard Brett Butler fan, and he was actually a pretty good player, if you had one of these, why would you want another one? There's 4 million out there. So why would you want another one? Or let's take another example. A 1987 Nolan Ryan. Have you heard of Nolan Ryan? Nolan Ryan, arguably the best pitcher that ever played the game. Career, he has more strikeouts than any player. This is a 1987 Topps card. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best pitchers that ever pitched in the major leagues. What do you think the value of this card is?
5 cents or lower.
Yeah, you probably get 5 or 4 cents for it if you put just this card on eBay. Now, people can talk about grading and stuff like that, but this card, as it is, not worth very much. There's also the likes of other stars from the junk wax era, like Andres Galarraga. It's actually a pretty good card. Tony Pena. Remember this guy. A great card from 1990, the Will Clark. Actually, this is a 91 Fleer Will Clark. A Donruss 1988, which is one of the worst sets of the junk wax era. And there's even cards like this one, Vita Blue, who had like 2 good seasons. This is a 1981 card, and in 1981 Fleer, Vita Blue had like 2 or 3 good years, and then that was it. But these are all classics from the junk wax era. So please stay on my channel. We'll see more videos on junk wax. I'm going to go through all of the series, as many as I can, and talk about the different years of junk wax, different players of junk wax, and I might even do a special video on Sport Flicks, if you remember these. Anyway, make sure you subscribe
And like.
and like.